Autumn Nations Cup, the second game of the weekend after Georgia take on Fiji, is from Ireland, and it is Ireland taking on Scotland. Both of these teams have lost a game. Scotland lost disappointingly to France, and Ireland likewise to England. Scotland, I've only put one win there because they did have their one win over Italy, but their game against Fiji was scrapped. So they got a free win. You can put it in the wins column if you want, but that is what it is. Ireland with their 2 wins. A bit of criticism for them after last week. You can either look at it as they're building in Ireland. They're giving some guys more caps. Some guys either their first cap or, still single digit caps, or you can look at it as things are not going swimmingly. But I'll go through the squads, the recent history, and the predictions for this one. And you guys can let me know your thoughts on how it is going to go. Ireland have made, I don't know whether you call it sweeping changes, but it's quite a few. Quite a few. Healy, Herring, and Porter is your front row, so Healy gets a start. Belam is out of the 23. Bit of criticism for him last week against the Georgians at scrum time. Henderson and Ryan continue on in the second row, but Ryan is relieved of captaincy duties as Johnny Sexton is back this week. I think that's probably a good thing for James Ryan. Maybe it was a good thing to give him a little taster, if that's the direction that they're looking to go for in terms of future Irish captain, because despite the fact that Sexton's been hitting back at the media recently for saying when's he going to retire, they will need to think of a succession plan at some point, so maybe he is the man. Stander is there at 6. He takes the place of Tyke Byrne. O'Mahony comes in at 7 in place of Will Connors, and Caelan Doris comes back to the number 8 jersey, with Stander having vacated it for 6. So is that the preferred lineup? Probably, I guess. I don't know. Murray and Sexton are 9 and 10, so that's the ever familiar combo. Apparently Billy Burns is out with a groin injury anyway, but given that Sexton's fit again, he was probably not going to have that 10 jersey on his back. Aki and Henshaw are back in the midfield. McCloskey and Farrell leave the starting team. McCloskey's out of the 23 and Farrell is on the bench. Earls and Keenan continue on in the wings. That's one of the areas of stability. Stockdale also continues on at fullback, so the back three is actually pretty stable. The bench is Kelleher for Heffernan. O'Sullivan is going to get his debut if he comes on. He's probably in for Belam, really, with Healy starting. John Ryan, Quinn Roux continue on. Josh van der Flier is back in the side. Good to see. Gibson-Park takes the place of Marmion. Ross Byrne is there, and Farrell, I mentioned, takes the place of Daly. So, yeah, there's a limited number of guys who played with the same jersey on their back last week. You'd say it's probably going for experience in terms of, you look at how many caps are the likes of Healy, Stander, Amani, Murray, Sexton, Earls, even Henshaw. Like, there's a lot of experience in this Irish side. So maybe it's one that they're thinking is kind of must win. Given the pressure of last week, you go to the experienced hands. I don't know. Scotland in a bit of a different position because they kept their coach after the World Cup. They didn't have that kind of transitional change, which Ireland and New Zealand, Wales seem to be going through with mixed degrees of success. They had the stability at Scotland, and maybe that's paying off because they seem to be one of the teams on a pretty decent trajectory. But remember, they've only played 2 games. And the one against France was a bit disappointing. So Sutherland is back, which is good news. He takes the place of Ollie Kevill. Brown and Fagerson make out the front row. So Fagerson's in for Bergen. Again, Scotland lineup's got a fair few changes too. Cummings and Gray is a stable second row. So both sides keeping their second rows the way they were. It's Johnny Gray, by the way. Thompson, Ritchie, and Fagerson is a pretty interesting back row. I did check to see if Hamish Watson was injured, but it seems like it's just a bit of rotation, and maybe that's something Grigor Townsend needs to look at, because I think he's pretty much played, Watson, Ritchie, and other for goodness knows how long. It seems like forever. But yeah, Blade Thompson at 6. I've usually seen him play 8, but I'm sure he'll do all right. And Ritchie switches to 7 for Watson's having been out at the 23, and Matt Fagerson continues on at 8. Price is 9. That's a stable one. And Van der Valk gets a run at 10. It's his debut. He takes the place of Duncan Weir. I didn't read that he's injured. So, man, you guys are swimming with fly halves in Scotland, man. You got Van der Valk, Weir, Russell, Hastings. Yep. That's good. It's good to have depth in that key position, man. It'll be interesting to see how he goes at international level. It's a bit of a deep end one to chuck him in away in Ireland in the final game of the season, but if he's ready, he's ready. Duncan Taylor comes in for Sam Johnson. Chris Harris is still there at 13. Duhan van der Merwe and Darcy Graham are the wings. So Graham comes in for Kinghorn, who's injured, and Stuart Hogg is at fullback. He is captain. McAnally, Kebble, Nell, Skinner, Blair Cowan's in. Hidalgo-Clyne, Hugh Jones is also back, and Maitland make out the bench. So no Turner this week. Kinghorn's injured. George Horn's still injured. Hamish Watson, I think, is just rotated. Is it the right time for Scotland fans to feel confident? I would have thought so, but I'm not sure how much of that's just us being a little bit doom and gloomy on the Ireland side. Like, part of me, I've got like the devil on my shoulder saying Ireland are in trouble. They're not doing the right things. And I've got the angel on the other side saying, nah, man, just give it time. First year, Andy Farrell, give him some time. He's getting his combos right. He's still making his changes, still tweaking. Yeah. But as I said, Scotland seems to be on a pretty good run. So if there's a time they're going to get a win in Ireland, maybe this is the time to do it. I don't know. But there with a guy on debut at 10 up against Johnny Sexton, maybe not. Hard to say. The Irish attack, I think we would like to see more from that. Definitely they've not been taking their chances, and they've not been looking as cutting or sharp as we might like. Like, you just remember wave after wave against that English wall, all for little pay. And for Scotland, I think you'd say their discipline against France, too many penalties conceded, was a big issue. So that'll be an area they would like to clean up. The bookies have got Ireland by 10. And the Rugby Forecast algorithm got Ireland by 11. So Ireland go into this one as favourites. And the recent record would suggest there's good reason for that. Last 5 games, it's 4-1. Average score 24-13. So pretty comfortable for Ireland in recent times. Last win for Scotland was in the 27 Six Nations, and that was at Murrayfield. Last win for Scotland over in Ireland is 2010. So it is a long time between drinks. But remember, the most recent game was in Ireland, and it was 22-19, I think. That's what I've written down anyway. And that's the one where Hogg mucked up a pretty certain chance to score. So Ireland could have suffered a defeat at that point. But, anyway, we will see. I guess it'll be a good one to see really where these two teams are at. But anyway, you guys let me know your thoughts on this one. What do you reckon? Ireland to finally kind of hit that potential we know they've got? Or Scotland to go with all that depth? Like, the Scottish team's got more depth than you've seen in a long time, to make some of that pay off and start toppling teams away from home. Yeah, we'll see. You guys let me know your thoughts. Talk to you again soon. See you later.